The headlines scream of economic upheaval. Trump's new tariffs have hit, and the impact is immediate. At the port of Los Angeles, container ships idle, their cargoes stalled, and dock workers move with visible unease. The usual rhythm of global trade is broken. Uncertainty hangs heavier than the diesel fumes. These tariffs, announced from Washington, are not just numbers. They're real obstacles, causing costly delays at America's busiest ports. Importers scramble to determine if their goods will be hit with duties that could erase their profits. Every delayed container, every waiting ship, triggers a chain reaction that will soon ripple across the country. A logistics manager, frustrated, points to the anchored vessels. His clients' business models depend on predictable costs, now upended. Companies face a stark choice: absorb massive new costs or pass them to customers already squeezed by inflation. This is more than a temporary bottleneck. It's a fundamental shift in the US-China economic relationship. The tariffs are meant to force change and boost domestic production, but on the ground, the effect is paralysis and anxiety. The cranes stand idle, silent over a sea of uncertainty. The ships wait. And across America, from boardrooms to family homes, everyone is bracing for the true cost of this new trade war. The storm has landed at the ports, but its reach will extend everywhere. The first bets are being placed, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The economic experiment has begun. The nation holds its breath. The new tariffs are targeted, not broad. Surgical strikes at key Chinese sectors. Construction and home goods are hit hard. Tariffs on timber and wood products jump by 25%, compounding existing duties. Kitchen cabinets now face a 30% tariff, and finished furniture sees new duties averaging 20%. For retailers reliant on Chinese suppliers, this is a seismic shift. Finding new sources takes years, so costs will hit consumers fast. The timing is brutal. The first wave lands mid-November, just as holiday and early 2026 construction demand peaks. Another round, rumored for next year, will target electronics and household goods, keeping businesses in a constant state of uncertainty. The goal is to revive American manufacturing, but for many products, domestic alternatives don't exist or can't scale quickly. Instead of a manufacturing boom, the immediate effect is a sharp rise in costs for families and businesses. The fine print reveals a painful adjustment period, not a quick fix. The price of protectionism is about to be paid at the checkout. Tariffs start at the port, but end in every American's wallet. Importers pay the duties, then pass the cost down the line. Home builders, retailers, and finally, families. A 25% tariff on timber adds thousands to the price of a new home, making housing less affordable. Furniture retailers, squeezed by 30% duties, must raise prices. What cost $500 last month now costs $650. For families, these increases are real and often prohibitive, forcing tough choices on what to buy or delay. The pain spreads. Trucking companies, warehouses, and port workers see less work as trade slows. Layoffs and reduced hours ripple through communities built on global commerce. Tariffs act as a regressive tax, hitting lower and middle-income families hardest. Wealthier households may absorb the increases, but for many, it means debt or cutting essentials. The kitchen table is where the impact is felt most. Balancing budgets just got harder. The ripples from the port are reaching every home. Beyond tariffs, new fees at the ports are piling on costs. A national security fee now targets Chinese-built cranes, $20,000 per crane per month, hitting 80% of U.S. port cranes. Terminal operators can't absorb this. The cost is passed to shipping lines, then importers, then consumers. Chinese-owned ships now pay an extra $15,000 per visit, another fee that trickles down the supply chain. These hidden costs quietly inflate prices on everything arriving by sea. For small businesses, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Tariffs, crane fees, vessel fees, all stacking up. The result: powerful inflationary pressure, starting at the docks and ending on store shelves. Every container now carries a heavier price tag. The promise was a manufacturing revival, but reality is more complex. Instead of made in America, companies are shifting production to Vietnam, Mexico, and India, dodging tariffs, not reshoring jobs. Imports from China drop, but imports from other low-cost countries rise to fill the gap. For most goods, the Made in America label remains elusive. The supply chain just moves elsewhere. Building new U.S. factories is slow, expensive, and risky. Labor shortages and high costs deter investment. Decades of offshoring have hollowed out skills and supply chains. Some niche manufacturing may benefit, but for most consumer goods, production simply relocates abroad. The tariffs disrupt global trade, but don't deliver a domestic job boom. American consumers pay more, with little to show in new factory jobs. The reshuffling of supply chains is costly, and the promised renaissance remains out of reach. For businesses, the worst pain is uncertainty. Tariff policies shift with politics, making long-term planning impossible. Importers don't know what duties they'll face when shipments arrive. Crisis management replaces strategy. Legal challenges add to the fog. Lawsuits argue the tariffs were improperly enacted, leaving billions in limbo. Some big importers pay under protest, hoping for refunds if courts overturn the tariffs. Small businesses can't afford that gamble. The result is an uneven playing field. Large corporations weather the storm, smaller ones struggle. Trade policy is now a short-term weapon, not a strategic tool, and confidence in the future is shattered. Many businesses are pulling back, delaying investment, and waiting for clarity, a powerful brake on the economy. As the holidays approach, tariffs collide with the busiest shopping season. Retailers face a dilemma: absorb higher costs and lose profits, or raise prices and risk losing customers. Shoppers will see higher prices, emptier shelves, and fewer discounts. Holidays will be more expensive for everyone. The squeeze lands hardest on families already struggling, forcing them to cut back on gifts and essentials. Rising costs and business uncertainty are driving up unemployment, especially in marginalized communities. The economic divide is widening. Those with the least are hit the hardest. Tariffs, meant to strengthen the economy, are instead fueling instability and inequality. As 2026 approaches, the question is not just about jobs, but about who bears the cost of this strategy. The true price is measured at the ports, in stores, and in the lives of millions. America's economic future depends on understanding and addressing these real human costs.